Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something interesting. We're going to be doing Metalcore Rage Against the Machine influenced Titans Stray from the Path. And in all fairness, this is a very political band, and I'm going to try to be as apolitical as possible. I do have a couple of political opinions here and there that I will explain. If you don't want to hear it, you can skip past it. Most of them will only be like 30 seconds to a minute long. I'm going to keep it as brief as possible, all right? All right. And right now we're starting with their 2003 debut, Audio Prozac. And this album is going to There there are some decent tracks on here like Formaldehyde Kiss and Avon Addict and Godson of the Insomniac, which I believe Godson of the Insomniac is mainly an instrumental. I could be wrong about that one, but yeah, those are the three I would say solid tracks. Everything else, like Every Time I Fall Asleep, You Videotape Me, How About Them Yankees? I saw the Creed guy eating pigeons last night in Central Park, and the whole thing about Helen Keller was horse shit, and Eat a Dwarf, and No One Cares, Bears, Bears. And the funniest title of them all, Christopher Reeves just rolled in from Montana, and boy, is his battery tired. Is all just kind of juvenile and unfocused and just silly. Also, pretty weak production too. And the instrumentation, well, the instrumentation is actually pretty solid. The instrumentation and the vocals really drag it down, at least for me. Like, this is an okay album. You can check it out if you're like a diehard fan of this band, but in my opinion, if you skip this one, you're not missing much. Next up, we have Our Oceana, released in 2005. I actually thought this was a dramatic improvement from the last one. I'm actually putting Our Oceana in good tier. Like every track on here is just solid. Like no track is better than the other, but it's a good album. Like The Life You Live, Casual Conversations, Solace, the Appendix Interludes, like Appendix 1, If There Is Hope, then Thick and Thin, A Not So Modern Parasite are also solid tracks. I also like the interlude, the second Appendix interlude, Appendix 2, Elaine the Pros, The Great Exodus, Formaldehyde Kiss, which is a rework of the last one. This with better production and vocals, and a Tricolored Goldmine and CODA, The Nightbirds are all very solid tracks. This is a dramatic improvement. I would actually say everything is good here. Like the vocals, the production, and the instrumentation is all good. This is a big step up from the last album. Next up, we have the 2008 release, Villains. And this is going to great tier. I thought this was another dramatic improvement. Like seriously, like tracks like Callous, Villain, To Vanish, The White Flag, Superstructure, Soviet, Lessons in Fraud, Lessons in Fraud, Lessons in Fraud. I'm guessing Lessons in Fraud. I don't know. I don't know if someone mistyped that or not. The Art of Reprisal, The Spectre and His Mantra, Capital, and Atizia are all great tracks. My only complaint about this album is it is way too short. I do appreciate that hardcore spirit coming through at keeping things at a lean, mean 2 to 3 minutes, like 1 to 2 minutes. I do appreciate that. But in the same vein, I feel like at a lean, mean 20 minutes, this is just maybe a little too short. I feel like an album hits its stride when it's at like 30 minutes personally, but I've seen some albums work really well when they're at like 25 or yeah, when they're at like 25 minutes or 35 minutes. So this one just feels a little too short for me, and it leaves me a little hungry at the end. But outside of that, really great album. This is worth checking out, in my opinion. But next up, we have their 2009 release, Make Your Own History. And this album is going to fantastic. I love this album. The big standout for me on this one is Negative and Violent. Excellent track. I also love Lucid Dreaming, Manipulator, Damon, fraudulent. The things you own end up owning you. Comrades, even though once again that term comrades. Thank you, Twitch and Twitter activism, for ruining the word comrades. But I digress on that matter. Just look that up. I'm not going to go into detail about that. But I also love Nigeria, featuring Jonathan Vigil of The Ghost Inside, and the title track is also amazing. The only track that I don't think is on the level of the others is Mytira. That one's like a solid 9, but the rest of it's like 10 out of 10. So in my opinion, this album's like a 9.9. Honestly, very strong listen. Seriously, check this album out. Like, this is almost a must hear in my opinion. It's just a little short of being a must hear. Next up, we have their 2011 release, Rising Sun. And this is a little bit of a step down from Make Your Own History, but I'm still going to put it in Fantastic at the bottom of Fantastic, though. The standouts for me on this one are The Deathbed featuring Jonathan Vigil of The Ghost Inside again, and Pray featuring Corey Brandon of Norma Jean. But everything else here is solid, like Rising Sun, Mad Girl, I Member, Dead Rabbits, Center of Attention, The Laughing Man, The Escape Artist, and Crashing Down are all solid. This is still a relatively solid album with two big standouts, in my opinion. And this is pretty much the last thing, and fair warning, this is the last album that I'm going to talk about before I start just getting a little political. I'm not going to get super political. This ain't a political channel, but it's basically I'm going to get mildly political, all right? If you don't want to watch that, then just skip the 30 seconds that I'm going to talk about it on the next album. I will give you fair warning when I'm going to talk about it, all right? All right. Next up, we have Anonymous, released in 2013. And this album is going to perfection. I love this album, honestly. I love False Flags. Yes, the intro is kind of corny, but I still love it with the FEA. Are you listening? Red, White, and Blue won't look out for you. Or where is the liberty? I really love that. I also love Badge and a Bullet as well, directly calling out police brutality. I really appreciate that, and I like how it's written in a timeless manner where it only calls out cops that abuse their authority to intentionally hurt people, not by accident. They mainly they pretty much clarify that if you listen to the song that they only call out cops that abuse their authority. I also love Radio featuring Jesse Barnett of Stick to Your Guns. I also love Scissorhands featuring Jason Butler of Let Live. This song in particular is basically about him losing his best friend to a horrible relationship. Great song, honestly. Seriously, check that out. Also love Black Friday, Counting Sheep, Slice of Life, Tell Them I'm Not Home, Landmines, and the title track. This whole thing rips. This is a 10 out of 10 album. Seriously. This is a must-hear album, in my opinion. Please check this one out. Next up, we have Subliminal Criminals, released in 2015. And this album is going to grade above Villains, though. Come on, work with me. There we go. The tracks that I think are a little weaker are the New Gods. I'm not really crazy about that riff that opens it up. It's just kind of grating and annoying to me. I also find Badge and a Bullet Part 2 to be like a weaker sequel song to Badge and a Bullet. Still has the same theming. I still agree with the message, but I just find it a lot more clunky than the last one, personally. Outbreak is a great song, though. I love, like, the Subliminal Criminal. Jesus, I sound like Fred Durst when I do that shit. And whatever. I also love Shots Fired, Eavesdropper with the check, is this thing tapped? I can't say shit without being hacked. Love that line. I also love Die Pig, which directly basically calls out musicians that abuse underage fans, like Ian Watkins, for example. I am not going into the story of Ian Watkins. If you want that, look it up yourself, alright? Alright. I also love Future of Sound featuring Cody Beware and Time Bomb and Snap, and These Things Have to Fall Apart. Really solid album with some great messaging. I just don't find it as consistent as the last one. Still, this is worth checking out. Maybe after you knock out some of the must hears, you can check this one out. But next up, we have Only Death is Real, released in 2017. And I actually thought this was a slight improvement over Subliminal Criminals. It's not enough to make it into fantastic, but it's enough to make it to the top of great. I actually really like stuff like the opening move and Loudest in the Room. They're basically Loudest in the Room basically calls out the sides of both parties that are the loudest in the room, that actually marks the most damaging stuff, and how we pay attention to them instead of paying attention to the actually knowledgeable people about it and stuff like that. Once again, I fully agree with that sentiment. I also like Good Night Alt Right, which is okay. This is going to be an actual controversial political opinion that I think some people will disagree with, which is basically this song is about punching Nazis in the face, especially because this song was written after Richard, I believe his name was Richard Chamberlain, was an and he was a known neo-Nazi who got punched in the face on camera. And in my opinion, I do think if you are doing something that damaging or a neo-Nazi, you do open yourself up for that, because I do agree with the sentiment of fuck Nazis, but also in the same vein, I don't think we should be, glorifying violence, if that makes sense, because a lot of violence just results in more violence. Like, I'm not going to go into it, but if you know what I'm going to say. I don't want to talk about that though, but I do think we shouldn't be appropriating violence, but the song still slaps, honestly. It's just one of those things of like where I appreciate the fuck Nazi memo of it. Don't take this song to heart. Don't go around punching people in the face, please. Like, please don't do that. Don't take this song that much to heart. Just listen to it and have a good time, man, and use it for your workout playlist. This is a great workout song. But anyway, I also love Let's Make a Deal. They always take the guru for something straight ahead. I also love Plead the Fifth. There's Strange Fiction featuring Keith Buckley of Every Time I Die. Oh, sorry, wait. I was wrong about Plead the Fifth. Plead the Fifth, that is the weakest song on this album. It's still good, but it's kind of cringy in places, especially with the whole line of welcome to the melting pot, motherfucker. If you don't like it, then get the fuck out. Okay, that's clunky and kind of cringy, I'll be honest with you. But it does make up for it with Strange Fiction, featuring Keith Buckley of Every Time I Die, All Day and Night, featuring Brian Garris of Knocked Loose, and The House Always Rents, featuring Vinnie Paz of Jedi Mind Tricks, and the title track, honestly. So they do make up for it. It's just that one track. They cut this one track from this album. I might have actually put this in A tier, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Alright, next up we have Eternal Atomics, released in 2019. And this album, I think I'm going to put it in perfection. I debated between top of fantastic to bottom of perfection. And you'll see why I debated it later. But I think I'm going to put it at the bottom of perfection. This is easily the heaviest album they've ever done. Like, seriously, it opens up so heavy with the ringleader basically telling you to think for yourself and avoid crowd mentality. Really appreciate the messaging on that one. I also like Kickback. The First Will Be Last, Fortune Teller, Second Death, Beneath the Surface, Something in the Water, Holding Cells for Living Hell, and their heaviest track I think they've ever done, Double Down, featuring Matt Honeycutt of Kubla Khan. This thing is just ferocious. Like, this track just will knock you on your ass if you're not ready. I also love Action Not Words, calling you to actually do something for the betterment of humanity and people instead of just, being a keyboard warrior online. Actually do something to help people and help the world. I really appreciate that closing sentiment on Actions Not Words. Yeah, excellent album with a lot of great lyrics on there too. Once again, this is a heater for the gym too. Like if you need something to get you pumped up at the gym, go listen to Eternal Atomics. This will get you pumped. But next up we have Unique Euthanasia. There we go. Couldn't talk for a second. Released in 2022. And this one surprised me. I did not expect to like this more than Anonymous, but I did. This is actually probably my favorite Straight from the Path album, and the one album I would recommend you check out from this band. I mean, like, seriously, like, let's listen to Needful Thanks, for example, with the opening call of Are You In or In the Way? I also love May You Live Forever, 3, calling out police brutality again, Guillotine, Chest Candy, is just like someone just chugged a bunch of Red Bull and just pounded a line of coke. Bread and Roses is a more melodic, Deftone sounding like song featuring Jesse Barnett of Stick to Your Guns. Also love Law Abiding Citizen, The Salt in Your Spit, Neighborhood Watch, and the cold and chilling ladder work. That is a really insane number to close things out on. Like it's really heartfelt too. I love the closer ladder work. This is a 10 out of 10 album, and if you take nothing else from this video, please check out Euthanasia. Actually, you know what? Please check out Euthanasia and Anonymous. Please check out those two albums, okay? Please. And next up, we have their final album, released in 2025, Clockwork, because they disbanded after this and they retired. And this album is going to the top of fantastic. I could almost argue for switching it with Internal Atomics, but I don't think I'm going to. Because it has some points I actually like even more than Internal Atomics, like Kubrick's Stare and Fuck Them All to Hell, but it has some moments I don't like quite as much, like Shock Collar, for example. So I think Eternal Atomics is the more consistent album, even though Clockwork has some higher highs, but it also has lower lows. So I think Eternal Atomics, just based on the albums, wins it. But bangers on here like Kubrick Stare, Fuck Them All to Hell, Can't Help Myself, Clockwork, Shocker, Bodies featuring Flo Sotifia? I don't know how to pronounce that. Of Landmarks. Also love Shocker, Bodies in the Dark featuring Poison the Whale. Check out my Poison the Whale tier list, by the way, y'all. I also love It's also seriously infectious chorus to Can I Have Your Autograph? And this is where I'm going to have a political opinion again, so get ready. If you want to skip this, this will probably only go on for 30 seconds to a minute, all right? All right. This song is directly pointed at David Draymond of Disturbed for signing some bombs for the IDF to be dropped on Gaza, and all I have to say to that is I don't think he meant any harm by that, because I do agree with the sentiment that he wrote of fuck Hamas. Yes, I think that's something that even the Gaza citizens agree with, is that Hamas is evil and they have done more harm to their country than good. But also in the same vein, that bomb is going to be dropped on innocent women, men, and children, and at bare minimum, that does make you look like a psychopath. So at bare minimum, it's not a good look. At Matt's, that is actually something genuinely evil to do and pretty monstrous. And honestly, this is probably why I won't do Disturbed, is because of that. Because it's kind of ruined the music a little bit for me, because a lot of Disturbed's music is anti-war, and just seeing them do something like this that is pro-war, and it just genuinely rubs me up the wrong way. It makes me uncomfortable when I listen to Disturbed. So if you want a Disturbed tier list, I'll make you a deal. Get this video to 100 views, and I'll tackle Disturbed. All right, but if you don't get this video to 100 views, then I'm not doing Disturbed. But yeah, also closing strong though with You're Not That Guy and A Life in 4 Chapters as well. Fantastic album, honestly. Near perfection. I just think Internal Atomics beats it out slightly. But that's my Straight from the Path tier list. Tell me your favorite Straight from the Path albums. Tell me your favorite Straight from the Path songs. Tell me your least favorite Straight from the Path songs. Tell me if I got the ranking right. And also, if you disagree with anything politically with what I said, feel free to drop that in the comments below. I have no problems responding to that. The only rule is just don't attack each other over it, okay? If you want to attack me, that's fine. You can attack me. I don't care. But don't attack each other over it, please. Like, please try to keep the comments civil. I would greatly appreciate that. But all of you, have a great day, a great week, and a great weekend. I'll see all of you for tomorrow because I'm actually doing a special surprise for you that I'm not going to tell you. But stay tuned for tomorrow. You're going to have a special surprise for you.